What's up, Scorpio? Welcome to your October 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kaylee Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anyone who's working on their personal growth, self-expression, or spirituality in any form. So if those areas of life are important for you, I encourage you to go ahead and keep listening. I want to jump right into your reading today, Scorpio. So while I was tuning in for you, I was being given this almost mythological connection with the trials of Hercules, which is kind of interesting, but I feel like mythic connections come through occasionally in meditations to give a sense of the journey that someone's on. Myths themselves seem to be on some level, sort of a mapping of archetypal human experiences. And so for you in October, we do have the sun moving into your sign on the 22nd. We've got a new moon in your 12th house just prior to that. And we also have a lot of hard aspects this month, which are going to affect everyone, not just Scorpios. All across the board this month has some heavy Mars aspects. The sun will be opposing Mars. We've got Mars squaring Saturn and Pluto. So there's a lot of Mars energy, which you're not the worst with, because Mars is your traditional co-ruler, which also rules Aries. And he's in Aries, so there are going to be some positives to this, and I really feel for you, Scorpio, that this is going to be a month of strength for you, but it's also going to be a month in which you may feel like your strength is being tested in certain ways. And I feel like maybe the task that's ahead of you, regardless of whatever is going on in your personal existence, because these are just general collective readings, but in your personal experience, I feel that there's going to be moments where you are tested a little bit and you are sort of given the opportunity to control your reactions to little frustrations, maybe. I also feel that there's a potential energy around a Leo person or somebody in connection with Leo. This isn't totally unfamiliar for me. I tend to feel a lot of energies between Scorpios and Leos. There's definitely a strong karmic connection or bond that Scorpios tend to have with people who have a lot of Leo placements, so be on the lookout for that if you have a Leo person in your life. The tests and trials could be in connection with that person. But overall, I really feel like the message for you this month is to rest in your scorpionic strength and stay connected to what you want. Stay connected to your vision for yourself, Scorpio, because there's going to be stresses that are affecting everyone in the coming month of October and a little bit into November as well. But I feel like you have what it takes to stay very personally aligned and intentional throughout those trials and tests. And I think that you can actually come out achieving exactly what you want. It's just going to be about staying very laser focused, staying very centered. And so do whatever you have to do to maintain that sense of presence, whether it means making sure you get a really good night of sleep on most nights, as many as possible, or whether that means waking up and meditating first thing in the morning to kind of align yourself. Whatever it is, small or little and big things that you can do to maintain that sense of connection with your vision and your intentions is going to go a really long way to helping you achieve your goals. So let's take a look at your cards and we'll get some more information. Scorpio. I'm using this Halloween tarot deck, partly because it's October and partly just because it's a lighthearted deck and I feel drawn to it. It's just a good energy to bring to a month that can potentially have some heavier energies, just because, again, of the astrology that we're dealing with on a collective level. So I like to remind myself to kind of be silly and playful and lighthearted while still, getting valuable information. Scorpio. Okay, now let's take a look here. We've got Dolphin as your path and Crossed by the Peacock. Interesting. So with this draw, again, it's funny, I was just talking about remaining lighthearted. The Dolphin is all about that. So this is going to be a month where you can actually have a lot of fun. And you're going to be feeling very at home in the energy of October, in spite of whatever difficulties may be arising on a collective or personal level. For many of us, I feel like there's just this energy of you kind of enjoying the process of holding a high vibration, even when you feel, tired, or even when you feel a little bit like, oh, something's taking longer to happen, or you feel maybe pressure because you don't have enough time to do things. For example, that's something that I expect a lot of people to feel this month because of these tense aspects that we have: Mercury opposing Uranus and Mars squaring Saturn. There can be a sense of like a time crunch, but I think you are actually going to be able to kind of sail through that and to keep a light heart. And one of the ways that I encourage you to do that is to not sweat the small stuff. If you typically are somebody who likes to keep things very clean and pristine, you may realize that some of those things are falling by the wayside a little bit. And I would just say, stay balanced, of course, try and keep up your normal routine, but also give yourself permission to go with the flow this month. If you need to leave some laundry sitting out, not folded for an extra day or so, it's not a big deal. I think that there's something here about just kind of being comfortable with the flow that is, that's really manifesting for you in your life, and not trying to be perfect, and I think that's going to give you a lot more levity and joy. The Peacock is the influence. So this is going to be about a spiritual test. When we see this card, Peacock, the description of this card in the Animal Spirit Oracle deck is all about being able to digest difficult experiences and handle them with grace. Because the peacock has one of the strongest digestive systems of any bird, and they can pretty much, handle anything that they put in their body. So there is this element as well of, I want to say complexity and richness with the plumage of the peacock. And I think this is echoing in what you're trying to do in your life, Scorpio. What you're trying to do is not easy. What you're trying to do is not just a simple walk in the park, whether it's something in your career that you're working on or something in your personal life. The things that you're doing are genuinely difficult, okay? So don't feel bad if you have a sense of struggle, or if you have a sense of, really needing to be on top of things and feeling challenged. It's good that you feel challenged. It's good that you feel pressure. It's good that you feel like you're really having to watch things in order to make sure that they don't get out of hand. I think that with the peacock energy, it shows that you can handle these challenges with grace, and this is really going to expand your strength as an individual and your capacity to handle stress, which means that you're going to be able to achieve and accomplish more in your life while still maintaining your personal ethics and values. So let's take a look at your tarot cards. We've got 8 of Bats, 3 of Bats, which is the Bats are swords, 7 of Ghosts, and 4 of Bats. We've got 2 of Pumpkins, which is the Pentacles, 5 of Imps, which is Wands, 3 of Imps, and Page of Imps. Interesting. So we start out the month with a little bit of difficult energy. I would say that the first week of October is the most difficult, and then the month kind of gradually gets improvement from there. So some of you could already be feeling this. You might be feeling sort of tied up with the 8 of Swords, which is 8 of Bats, and 3 of Bats. It's almost like you feel, I would say, pressure. I would also say a feeling of being sort of confined to a situation, maybe that you yourself have agreed to on some level. The 8 of Bats can come up when we feel like we don't have the resources that we need to change a situation, right? But really what that card actually reflects, the deeper perception of this card, is actually that we do have what we need. We're just not recognizing it, or we're not willing to access that within ourselves. So I would encourage you, Scorpio, to think about, if you are struggling with something, think about the real solutions that are at hand that you haven't given yourself permission to contemplate, whether that is, asking for help from another person, or it's thinking about the situation from a bigger perspective, from a higher perspective. I think some of you may feel like you're almost at like a dead end in certain ways in that first week of October. And again, this is totally normal. On the 7th, we have the first opposition between Mercury and Uranus. And on the 1st, we have the Aries full moon, which does have hard aspects to it. So we're kind of, that whole first week has difficult energy for everyone. And for you, I feel like the 3 of Bats is kind of showing that there could be a disappointment, or there could be something that you feel kind of tied up in, like you feel stuck with it somehow. And there may be like a tendency for you to feel forlorn, or a tendency for you to feel more negative about the situation than the actual situation really demands or permits. So I just want you to watch your emotional state in the first week of October, and feel your feelings, but also like practice intentional thinking and be aware of the thoughts that you're thinking that really make you feel more miserable than you need to, because a lot of times, that's what creates a lot of our internal turmoil, is just faulty thinking and faulty reasoning. So just being aware of that, I think, is the first step. And again, this is just, it's something that maybe some of you will experience, but it's more like it's the, overwhelming collective energy that we have in the sky as well. And it does improve. So by the second week of October, you've got the 7 of Ghosts and the 4 of Bats, which is about healing. The 4 of Bats is the 4 of Swords. And it shows this knight, sleeping in the traditional tarot deck. It's the 4 of Swords. And you also have the 7 of Ghosts. So I feel like in the second week of October, some of you are going to need to rest more. You may want to plan to be able to take a little bit more time off, or give yourself permission to sleep in on the days that you can, or give yourself permission to just kind of have a quieter lifestyle. You may also be having pretty profound dreams in that second week of October, particularly as we have the new moon in Libra, which is technically not in the second week, but it's just following on the 16th. That's going to be in your 12th house of dreams and the unconscious as well. So there is the potential for you to get some really powerful synchronicities around your dream life, or maybe some important messages coming through your dreams that are giving you like a sense of guidance, and a sense that you are moving in the right direction. So the third week is kind of putting things, trying to kind of piece things back together in some way. It's about problem solving, and it's about kind of being flexible. You may be quite busy in the third week of October with the 2 of Pentacles, which is the 2 of Pumpkins. Here we see this person juggling the pumpkins, and then you've got the 5 of Imps, which is the 5 of Wands. And there's just a sense of like feeling like things are just up in the air, feeling quite busy, feeling like you just have a lot going on, and maybe you're spread a little too thin, Scorpio. So just keep that in mind, and try and again simplify your life. Don't try and figure everything out in the third week of October. It's possible that you could experience some conflict with people around you, and this is a fire energy with the 5 of Wands, so this could be showing something with a Leo person, person, or a Sagittarius or Aries. But overall, I think that this is about being flexible, going with the flow, being open to different solutions as well, and not being sort of tied to anything in particular, but just kind of being open-minded. Okay, and that's really what I'm seeing here. With the Three of Imps and the Page of Imps, you've got these two Wands cards again, more fire, and this actually looks a lot more optimistic at the end of the month. After the sun moves into your sign on the 22nd, I think you're going to have just a lot more energy. You're going to be entering your birthday season if you're a Scorpio sun, so happy birthday if that's you. And yeah, I just feel like as the sun moves into your sign, it's almost like you feel like yourself again. You reach this personal rebirth, and you are having a greater sense of excitement, optimism, and clarity than you maybe had prior to that. And that's also why I think it's really important for you to just relax and have fun this month, even though you know that you have the 8 of Bats and the 3 of Bats right away, like right after you are, starting the month, or maybe even carrying over from September for some reason. You may feel like there's just like a feeling of kind of needing to just detach. I feel like it's detachment, Scorpio. It's detachment from the things that you've been like clinging on too hard to. That's really the message that I get going into the month. And the first 3 weeks of October have that message for you of you're going to feel more joy the more that you let go of your expectations, and the more that you just kind of ask life to show you what the joy is for you at this time, rather than trying to kind of impose your will onto it. It's more about just being happy with the way that things are. And the last week, I see you feeling a lot more creative, feeling a lot more excited about life, and really making some progress, or possibly even traveling as well at the end of the month. So there is a sense of personal joy, creativity, getting things done, being productive. Some of you, if you are a business owner, you could see an uptick in sales. You could see, a change in your overall like energy of your business or your team. And I just feel like you're overall, you're just accomplishing a lot again, or you're looking back and realizing, okay, that was like something that I needed to go through, whatever that quieter period is in the beginning of the month. It's like that's something that gave you a lot of clarity. So now you can move forward, and you have this sense of buoyancy, and you have this sense of trust in the timing of things. So definitely don't feel discouraged at all. We all have, especially when we have hard aspects and we have a new moon in our 12th house, typically that is a time in every year we have this, right? As Scorpios, every year we have this during the beginning part of October, where our energy is just drawn inward a little bit, and we have to heal, detoxify, cleanse, separate ourselves from the prior year, because we're moving into a personal rebirth. We're moving into a new cycle as the sun approaches our sign again. So it is really about just kind of going with that energy, if that's what your life is telling you you need. If you need a break, if you need to release yourself from some obligations, if you just need a little bit more time to yourself, I mean, that's just what you need, Scorpio. And then your Bob Ross message is, isn't that fantastic? I knew you could do it. Isn't that fantastic? I knew you could do it. I love that. And I think it is really a powerful message given what came through already in this reading about being tested and feeling like you are stepping up to the plate. Remember the mythic journey of Hercules and the trials that he was given, and he succeeds with them, and it's against all odds. So there is something here about like feeling challenged, feeling pushed to your limit in certain ways, but also recognizing that your strength as a Scorpio tends to come out when you're on the edge. It tends to come out. Your greatest gifts and your greatest tenacity, your greatest personal fortitude and forcefulness comes out when you are pushed to the edge. It's when you're out on the brink that you really shine. And I think that you feel that in yourself. Whereas you shine at other times in your life. You don't only shine when you're pushed to your limit, but like you tend to be the type of sign that if you shine under like normal, quote unquote, normal circumstances, you're not going to necessarily feel it as much. Other people might see it and be like, wow, Scorpio, that was a really great presentation that you did. But if it didn't feel like it was like tearing you apart almost to grow that much, then you almost don't recognize the value of what you do. You're kind of a perfectionistic sign in a lot of ways, and you demand a lot from yourself, and so you tend to feel really, really good about yourself, ironically, when you are pushed to the extreme. That's when you really feel the growth. That's when you really feel the personal value and, I would say humble pride in yourself, because you're like, when you get on the other side of it, you're like, wow, I handled that. I handled that shit, And I think that that is a very rewarding thing for a Scorpio. It's definitely more rewarding than, just kind of going along at like a surface level, right? Scorpios don't typically feel great when they're dealing with things more on a surface level. You really want to go to those depths so that you can feel the expansion in both directions, right? So I hope that's helpful. Please let me know in the comments what you thought about this reading. I would love to hear from you guys. If you want to just support my channel, you can thumbs up this video, you can subscribe and subscribe to notifications. You can also leave me a comment below, like a little happy Halloween message or a happy birthday message, because I am a Scorpio as well. And I'm wishing you all a very happy birthday. I hope you have an amazing month, and I will see you next time. Sending you tons of love, and I will talk to you later, Scorpio. Happy birthday.